The Blokebusters podcast is proud to be a member of the Pod Bros Network. You can find us, as well as other fantastic podcasts, such as Pencil and Ink Review, Another Damn Trivia Show, and The Language of Bromance at podbros.com, as well as on most other fine podcasting services. Now sit back, relax, and prepare to share and enjoy the Blokebusters podcast. Welcome to episode 78 of the Blokebusters podcast. I'm Brian.
And I'm Paul.
And today is our Netflix edition.
Yes.
We will be talking about the latest Christopher Guest entry, Mascots.
Yes, we will.
But before that...
several things to get out
yes,
of the way.
a little business. Yes, we're back, by the way.
Yes.
Hi.
Yes, sorry about the delay there. I was actually planning on having a little something explaining exactly what was going to happen. And then what happened earlier than was planned.
Well, I wanted us to review something like a baby's day out or something.
Yeah,
as in, Look Who's Talking.
Yeah, like Three Men and a Baby or something like that. Actually, yes. Look Who's Talking would have been fun. Yeah.
Yes. But Paul's been procreating. Busy procreating. Well, seeing the fruits of that procreation.
Yes, a while ago it was. Yes, my wife ended up having a baby 2 weeks early.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Everybody.
Yes, it was one of those things where we thought she was going to be late because everything was heading that way, and then all of a sudden the doctor was like, why don't you come in 3 days' time, we'll just double check you, okay, you're going in. So it was just, I had no time to get anything sorted out.
It's a good thing we had a little back catalogue of things.
Yes, I was able to edit a few episodes of the film Spotlight that we had just on the back burner. And so yes, there's actually one still left to do with that. So that will come out eventually as well. And yes, so do bear with us for all of the following few months while we actually try and get some sort of schedule worked out around the newborn.
Yes, exactly. He has priorities now.
Yes.
Yeah. Can't be living the fantastic bachelor life that I do, but revel in your joys.
With your Snuggie. And
hey, I was going to bring up the Snuggie in the next episode, but what Paul fails to mention is I'm only wearing the Snuggie, and hopefully I don't need to get up to get something to drink from the kitchen, because that would be quite unfortunate if I need to stand up.
I mean, it is a wonderful Transformers Snuggie, but
it is.
I don't feel the need to see any more.
It's quite comfortable, and yes, it's a little chilly in here, so I'm rocking the Snuggie right now.
Obviously it is.
It's not just a fashion statement, it's also, warm.
Yes.
Alright, anyway.
And yes, actual business to get out of the way as well.
Could people get hold of us, Paul?
You can follow us on Twitter at Blokebusters, or on Facebook, just at Blokebusters. We're on Instagram, so at Blokebusters. You can email us, blokebusterpodcast@gmail.com. And we have a website, blokebusters.webs.com. It's a nice little thing we have there, and as anyone that has visited it at all in the last month or so will have realised, yes, I haven't updated it in a while. Hey, I've been busy.
Yes, you can ride that excuse out for at least 18 years.
Yes.
So, you got some problems.
Yes, it'll be, baby problems. It's like they're 15 years old. Baby problems.
Large baby problems. Yeah.
Yes. Alright, so, I would normally do the director budget and box office here, but all I can give you is the director, and we've already done that. So, yes, this is Mascots, directed by Christopher Guest, and I think the second this came on Netflix, like, both of us were kind of like, oh, let's just watch this.
This was a no-brainer for us, yeah.
Yeah, it's actually one of, I think, only a couple of Christopher Guest films that I have seen. Obviously, this is Spinal Tap. And I can't recall.
He was just writer on that, right? Because that's Rob Reiner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but films that he's connected to.
Yeah, gotcha.
And yes, it was interesting watching this because I'd seen a trailer, but it was the very first trailer that came out, so it didn't show you everyone that was in it.
Mm-hmm.
And
there's no way any trailer could show you everyone that's in this movie.
Yeah, so there's a reason I haven't gone into the cast list, and that's because if I did, we'd be here for another 5 minutes.
We'll just bring up the cast as the characters come up in conversation, I think.
Yeah, so indeed, the only one that won't come up in conversation that I could mention right now is Harry Shearer of Simpsons fame.
Oh yes, as the announcer.
Is the announcer for the conversation.
Yeah, because I saw his credits and then I'm like, where was he? Because I saw the credit and I'm like, oh, announcer, yeah.
And speaking of the credits, this is odd place to start. But yes, the closing credits. Like, how weird but kind of cool was that? Like all the names just written again and again and again. It was just like coming up in red, just for each person. Like rather than just having a text scroll. It was so nice to see something different for that. And it's not the first thing you would expect to hear about the Chris Forgets documentary.
Yes. There are better things to talk about. That's usually a sign of bad things. Like, oh well, let's talk about the credits.
No, but, hey, it came up therefore
exactly
worthy of mentioning.
Right.
So, well, in that case, then, Brian, why don't you lead off? You're more fresh on this than I am. Where would you want to start?
Should I do one of my patented synopses?
Sure, go ahead. If you can come up with one.
Okay, well, I will use this reliable website that that no one really knows about except for me and a couple of other people. I gotta take a deep breath for this one.
Okay.
It's a big one. A look into the world of competitive mascots.
Didn't think we'd get through that one.
So, that is your IMDb synopsis.
That is brilliant.
Yes. I mean, I can't argue with it, really.
It is almost exactly what it says on the tin.
Yes.
Yeah, all it needed was a parody look into it. They neglected to mention the word parody.
Yes.
So
satirical or any sort of thing like that. Yeah.
That'd be kind of interesting. Imagine if someone came across it on IMDb and was just like, oh, that's like, a look into competitive mascots. Why don't we watch that?
I was thinking about getting into mascotry and let me know.
And they don't happen to have Hulu, so they don't have Behind the Mask on there. So they end up with
Never
mascots.
heard of Christopher Guest. Oh, all sorts of horrible things. So yeah, it's been 10 years since Guest has directed anything, a feature direct.
Really?
For Your Consideration was his last directorial feature.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's been quite a long time coming.
Yeah.
I was wondering what his new subject material would be.
Yeah, I can't picture exactly where this would have sprung up from, unless does he have a child or grandchild at school that has a mascot?
I do not pretend to know what is in Christopher Guest's mind, but I'm happy that those things are in there for the most part.
Yes, and that they're able to come out.
Yes, pardon me. So yes, I don't know where. So anyway, this isn't a bad characterization, but it's a typical Christopher Guest film.
Yes.
It follows the same beats as you're used to in Waiting for Guffman, Best in Show, A Mighty Wind, all that. Just talking head, mockumentary. Oddball characters,
and some of those things where it's a mockumentary, but there are several shots where it's like a documentary crew wouldn't have been able to set that up quite like that.
Kind of like some of the things like in The Office or whatever. Like there's no real context for that to be in a documentary, but.
One of my favourite running jokes, I believe, in this whole thing is the furries.
Oh god, yes. The scritching and script, whatever it is.
That's scritching. It's like, isn't it yiffing and...
Oh, we gotta get out with the yiffing and yapping and scritching. It's the rabbit coming into the dressing room and like messing with the flower.
I think it's messing with the flower and then just kind of standing out there, just like edging towards.
It was a great, visual gag running through.
It was one of the. I think was it only 3 times? Was it 3 times or was it 4 times? Because obviously there's a rule of 3.
Yeah, and there was the
last time
the hotel lobby. There was the dressing room,
and then I think when he's talking to like the people from the studio. and then he sees it and he just goes off. I think that was the last one.
Yes, it was that's a good runner. So yes, they are, all of these mascots are attending, the big event, like in Best in Show, the Westminster whatever kind of thing.
You've seen
their
it.
big event is the Fluffies.
Yes, it's the good old Fluffies.
Where ironically they are medal awards.
Yes, they are gold, silver, and bronze metal. Fluffies.
Nothing fluffy about them.
Yeah, and it's the sort of thing that you've seen, even if you haven't seen Christopher Guest film, like. You've seen, let's just say...
I would assume most people listening to this episode would probably have seen one. But just in case.
Yes, but in case you haven't, things like, Bring It On, all the cheerleaders go, and it's all the cheerleading squads all around, they all do that, or School of Rock, all the people around. Like it is just one of those competitions where everyone from... Is it just across America in this one? Because I know they... No,
this is England. Yeah.
So it's all across the world, actually.
I didn't want to get to this already, but two of my favorite characters, Heshe and the Worm.
Yes.
From Israel. And spoiler, they pull in the silver, is it?
I believe it is, yes.
Wow, Heshe and the Worm.
And although I question the person that is playing the worm.
Brad Williams?
Well, yeah, I don't believe that person would be that mascot in Israel. Like, it doesn't... Like,
we didn't get too much of his backstory. More on him later. I don't want to... That's too much good to get into right now. We gotta get back into that great scene in a little bit. But
so before we go into the actual mascots, then you have the judges for
we have
Jane Lynch as
who's
Gabby
fantastic
Monkhouse.
In all of these movies.
Yes, and there's actually a little bit with her I wanted to ask you about in a second. And who was the guy in it? That was it? This is the point where I kind of trip up because I'm trying to remember. Was it AJ Blumquist? Was that the character's name? Or was it Phil Mayhew? I can
the old judge.
Yeah, the older guy.
The other judges.
Yeah. Did it? Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not great.
So Ed Begley Jr. of course, and then
that
Don Lake.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So those guys are brilliant, and so Jane Lynch is someone who is relatively famous. And then, is it Ed?
Ed Begley.
Yeah, Ed's the guy who's not so famous.
Phallically challenged?
In
this film alone.
Yes.
Sorry, Ed.
Yes, the only... He was a mascot. The world first atomically correct mascot for one game. And, yes, and after years of therapy, he has finally figured out why he did that.
Shies away from terms like micro-penis.
Yes.
Sorry, we're spoiling to it. Yeah, but anyway, that's just some of the joy that this film offers.
Yeah, so the judges were always fun to jump to, and I need to ask the question: how much of the performance from the mascot do you think that the people playing the judges actually knew was going to happen? Because because
some of those, moments, the reactions, like the fists performance, I'm sure you're thinking of.
Yeah,
when he just throws the ref's body on the table.
Exactly.
And he starts laughing hysterically.
Yeah, she has hated the entire performance, and then the second.
Well, it's just mania. I think she's just sprung a nerve. Something popped in her head.
Clearly, the idea. I'm sure that she'd been given the thing of just okay. You don't like this because of how loud it is. Like, it's just it's annoying, everyone else likes it, you don't. And so she runs with that. And then at the very end, the fist has, and we'll get into the fist in a minute, has beaten up the ref, and so he carries the ref's dead body over to the table and slams it on the table.
Like a present.
At which point, Jane Lynch starts laughing very hard. And I don't think that was planned.
Oh, that broke me, I had to rewind and watch that a couple times, both times I watched this.
Yeah, it was a fantastic moment, and I genuinely do believe that was just it was corpsing from Jane Lynch there.
I sure hope so. Yeah, I mean, I'd enjoy it under any context, but that would be
Yeah.
a little tidbit if that were true. Yeah, so played masterfully by Chris O'Dowd.
Yes.
One of our favorites, I would say. One of
Yes,
our
definitely.
English favorites.
At the very least, from the IT crowd fans will know. Good old Roy.
And other people, I think his other big mainstream
Bridesmaid.
would be Bridesmaid.
Yes,
yeah.
he is the guy that Kristen Wiig ends up with
the
at
love
the end.
interest, yes.
Yes. And, I mean, I don't believe he's ever played anything where he's not Irish. Because he is Irish and he has that Irish accent. And I think...
I'm sorry, I believe I called him English. I apologize.
it is
to
okay.
you and both nations.
Yes, that's alright. yeah. It's kind of showing just how most Americans view the world. It's like, that area is England. So that works.
You know, the people that talk about it.
The Isles. There you go.
Yeah. That island place.
But yes, he plays a character that is literally a fist. That is his mascot.
Not the most creative mascot, but perhaps for his sport that he.
I suppose, yes.
Hockey.
I mean, he is a fist, and obviously he has legs, and then arms that come out, and he goes around and actually plays a little bit of hockey as well. So. Kind of interesting.
And humps owners' wives. And,
yes. Was he put on probation for that, or like what was the thing again?
Suspensions. I don't know. He's serving multiple suspensions from a different body.
Yeah, and I don't believe he specified whether or not the suspension has ended at the time he's at the competition. he just is there.
Yeah, he's the bad boy of Mascots.
Yes, and his character, and I'm not going to say exactly how it ends, but. I was talking to my mum about this a little while ago, and his ending is her favourite ending from the entire film.
Really?
Yeah, just where his character ends up is kind of fun.
Okay, well, I would like to. I mean, should have started off with her, but we got to talk about Parker Posey.
Cindy Babineau.
She is my indie girl crush forever and always. I love Parker Posey. And this is more of the same. She is fucking awesome in this movie. She's so hilarious. More important, like, not just her, but, where is it? Oh, shoot, what's her name? I just had it written down somewhere. Susan Yeagley, who plays her sister.
Oh, right.
People might know her from Parks and Rec. She's the Sweetums lady. Those two together, I could have watched an hour of just those two being interviewed together.
Yeah.
Just dynamite. Like, I'm not even going to try to quote anything, whatever, just watch it if you haven't. If you have, watch it again. Just those two together, so good.
It is
so good.
And they so clearly know how to just riff off of each other.
Yes.
Like I don't know how long beforehand they got together and like worked out those characters, but if they didn't, then they definitely are some of the best improv comedians out there.
From the accent work and just this whole idea. I mean, it wasn't too much of like a country bumpkin type idea, but it was just, yes, these people have their own unique ideas on things. And, but very earnest. Very, they're good people. Very earnest.
And they firmly believe that what they're doing is the pinnacle of mascottery, which it may or may not be.
I do have to say one line, because it is my favorite line. After 2 times of watching it, there will be more viewings. Plot point here, of course, as always, spoilers abound in our episodes. She wants to try something new to eat, just, not the same old stuff. So they try sushi. Of course this does not go well. And we find her bedridden in her hotel room, very ill, and she says, the sushi had bugs in it. And I fucking cracked up.
It's just so cool to watch it. Like, I thought, because for whatever reason, I don't know what it is, like, southern accents for me are some of the hardest to listen to. I don't know if it's...
well, there's sweet ones and there's really annoying.
But yeah,
there's a wide variety.
It's the ones that are, like, really kind of grating. That I'm not even going to attempt to perform said accent, but
okay.
No, I am not someone that should do that.
Okay.
So anyway, but yes, when they started talking, I was like, is this going to be one of those ones that just gets annoying the more they're on? And yeah, I think by about the second time they were on screen, I was just like, I don't care. I'm just enjoying this character.
Well, they're such endearing characters too. I mean, like, yeah, you really do get like how good they are. Sorry, I'm just thinking about the performance. I can't stop not thinking about the armadillo performance.
Yes.
High art, I guess is what we could call that one.
Yes, definitely.
Conceptual.
Yes, high conceptual art.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that it is art itself.
Yes.
Yeah, basically what it kind of is everyone else has, as you would expect, the set pieces, they have
high energy,
the stuff that a performance
lights,
that they go through that's like, this happens and then this happens and then this happens. Generally then it's a running around type thing and then end, big finish.
Yeah.
And this is
more
interpretive dance.
Pretty much, yeah.
and wonderful soundtrack with just
my gosh.
the occasional just phrases thrown in, just spoken words, lights going out and then coming back on, and you expect something to be different, and no, not really.
The thing you might expect to hear at like a planetarium's laser show, or something.
Yeah, a David Lynch planetarium laser show.
That's kind of the vocal or the kind of the soundtrack for the. But oh my god, I love the armadillo head. That was like homemade.
Yeah.
And it's so good. I mean, yes, of course. Spoiler here, plot point. But the sister has to take over the role because of the sushi food poisoning. Oh yeah, but it's so good. And everyone's, the judge is just staring, just confounded.
Yeah, well, I do believe, again, I haven't seen it recently, but doesn't one of the judges seem to really like it? Like, I think once it's finished...
Back. If I had to guess, I'd say Ed Begley Jr., but I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah, he was, it was fun. It was kind of fun to watch, just to see what the judges would end up liking, because obviously... I imagine that their characters were supposed to enjoy these ones and not these ones or something like that. But it was always fun to see what the judges were obviously thinking. And like during the Heshe and the Worm, I think, and they're just this is good.
Wow.
And I've been trying to think about it. What happens during the Heshe and the Worm other than the one guy just crawling on the floor a lot?
I don't know if much of it was shown. That's why it's so funny that they got the second place trophy. They were just kind of out there.
Yeah, because I think, cause isn't it, they were up and they're doing their thing. And while they're doing that, we're seeing a lot of the behind the scenes stuff because the plumber guy turned up late. And so I think he's turned up during that.
Mm-hmm. So we missed some of the performance, but.
So yeah, we kind of see the beginning of it, and then I think a bit where the worm stands up and runs a little bit, and then the very end, and that is it. Like every other performance, we see a fair amount.
Yes, and could I give an honorable mention to, I don't know what the names are, but the pencil and the sharpener? and then two of my favorite other side characters, John Michael Higgins, who's in pretty much every Christopher Guest film, and Maria Blasucki, I'll say. I guess they're supposed to be a couple or something, but they're always cut to in the stands, and just with the most inane, idiotic comment, just. It's a pencil. Oh, it's a pencil. Or it's a match. I get it. It's a match. Just these weird one-offs. And one of her lines, I love the bad boys. Bad boy, just, I mean, out of context, yes, it's all, but seriously, she nails that character so well. So does he. But yes, the pencil and the sharpener was one of my favorite performances.
Yeah, And I don't think we should explain what the performance is because
let's leave a little bit. Yeah, I mean you can connect the dots, but we won't.
Yeah, no, and it's also just one of those performances. I think if you were genuinely judging it, you'd say well, it goes on a bit too long. But because of this film, it doesn't. It goes on the perfect amount of time.
Right amount. Yes.
Yeah. There's so many people in here that we can talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got other bit characters like Jennifer Coolidge plays the person who's got herself the sugar daddy, who I think is
that's pretty much what she does at the
at this point.
I think is
she basically turned up in all of these as like. You know, hey, I'm someone who normally wears a low-cut top and I happen to be with someone who's older than me or is looking for someone who's a lot younger than me.
With the fantastic Bob Balaban.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see. Some people are just so typecast, unfortunately, and I think she
does it well.
She does. That's the only thing. Like, if it was anything else, you'd be like, she's doing that again. But in something like this, where again they're clearly given an idea for what's happening, and I would imagine if they need it, the guy will write out more stuff and whatever. But they must just be given, here's what we need from this scene. Go for it.
Yes.
Yeah, there's so many nice little moments. Well,
I would like to talk about a couple of the coaches I use in quotes. The first,
I wonder which one you're going with.
Well, the first would be our director himself, Corky St. Clair, reprising his role from Waiting for Guffman. Actually, that is is that one that you've seen? The Waiting for Guffman.
Don't believe
like,
I've seen that one.
But yes, that is the same character who's in that one. It's Corky St. Clair. So he's working with the Babineau, with Parker.
And does he say at the end whether or not like he thinks they did well? Because to me it seemed like they were like, okay, well we're going to be doing this, and he's been coaching them, and that's fine. And then it's just this avant-garde mess, and then at the end they're like, oh my god, it was so great, but I don't remember ever if the coach is there with them.
I don't know. Let us know, folks. I cannot recall. But of course, the best coach. Sorry, no offense, Christopher Guest, would have to be the always amazing Fred Willard in these films.
That's Greg Gammons Jr.
Not as good as his best in show performance, but or character, I should say.
Yeah,
but there was a little nod to best in show too, where I think he asked because he's working with the plumber Phil. Phil Mayhew, maybe? I don't know.
Well, yes, Phil Mayhew.
Okay, what's the character? Yeah. But, yeah, it seemed like, I think immediately, like, when you like dogs? I love dogs. Yeah. Just weird. Yeah, but that's, a little nod to Best in Show. But we gotta talk about his scene with Brad Williams, the worm.
Ron the Worm tripping.
Oh, probably
the best scene in the film.
The best scene in the film. Yeah, I'd say, I mean, other than like the mascot performances, writing in non-interview, that has to be the best scene in there.
Yeah,
with his fascination of the little person.
Yes, Fred Willard seemed to be the master of the completely ignorant, but also innocent.
Dick, but I'm still going to say some really stupid, ignorant things.
Yeah, he is completely ignorant and 100% like innocent, like behind it. Like, he had no malice whatsoever behind anything he says.
I think he just says, "I'm so fascinated by it. I could ask you on his paraphrase. I could ask so many questions or 1,000 questions about you."
Like I believe one of the things he asked, like, well, just like, oh, is that tall? I thought they cut your legs off or something.
How do you drive? I'm just so fascinated by it. Yeah, oh my god, yeah.
I was like, I think we need a little person for our act. Like,
we all know each other.
Like, can you get a hold of someone?
But yeah, Brad Williams, who is a stand-up, I believe.
I think so. I haven't looked into it.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he's a quite good stand-up. But Anyway, his reactions, like holding in the contempt and I've been through this bullshit before a million times, is so great.
Yeah, and he does start out as like, okay, this isn't bad, and then when the questions start hitting, and he's just like, the blank look comes across his face. It's like, okay, here we go.
He's trying to lift him up for the counter so he can get his nope, I get it. You want me to get you? No, I get it. It's fine.
You just climb up there, alright.
Yes.
And then just, what was the line? It was just like, I'll just go back to the hall of where we're all from, and because Fred Willard asks, he wants a little person for their act, and so he's like, you must know someone.
Yes, which I'm wondering. Yes, I was wanting to know who that little person was.
I wanted to know who that was and how he actually ended up arranging that, because it was clear to me that Brad Williams' character had no interest in actually getting a hold of someone. Mm-hmm.
So what was that their plan for the performance all along? The plumber.
I don't know. Yes, and for those of you wondering what we're talking about, yes,
life-size Mr. Hanky.
Yes, there's a plumber one who has this whole thing. Like, he comes out and he's a mascot that comes out and fixes a clogged toilet. Like, that is his act. And
which, yes, I guess by that we are all plumbers.
Yes, and so that happens, and then at the end he's like, "Oh, I gotta fix it," and then just a dancing turd jumps out.
Dancing poo, I like to say.
Yes.
I like to think of him.
Yes, the emoji basically kind of pops
basically,
out.
with legs, and he's like a live action Mr. Hanky.
Yes, and you're sort of maybe expecting it, but not quite.
Not quite. Yes, the judges' reactions are pretty great for that moment.
It was one of those things where you would think in a film like this, the jokes would be largely just the talking head interviews or the set pieces and stuff, but they genuinely wrote interesting acts for all of these guys, I think. And then, the only one we haven't really mentioned is the football one, right? The
meltdown. Or wait, not the baseball. The baseball?
No, not the baseball.
Okay.
No, I mean when I say football, I of course mean proper football.
Oh, sorry. Football.
Yes, the ball game that you kick with your foot.
That 99% of the world calls football.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, not hand egg, as I will call it in future.
With Sid. Yeah.
Yes, so yes, you got this person who's from England, and he's the third generation mascot, right?
The dynasty, I believe,
yes,
as how it's referred.
Yes, so his granddad ended up going for it, and then he ended up and then his dad ended up just kind of taking the reins, and now he's taken the reins, and of course, it's that thing, because they're from England, tradition is everything, and so he wants to try something different with a ladder. And his dad's like, you don't want a ladder, go, take the ladder back, we don't need a ladder. I genuinely thought that ladder thing was interesting, but no way physically, like, as in the laws of physics, that ladder would have stayed standing.
Especially with a bulky suit with very limited vision.
Yeah. And he genuinely jumps off the top of it. Like, he has left that ladder as he's jumping for this thing.
Yes. But that's like a moment where it's not filled with jokes, but it's still genuinely captivating and interesting storytelling.
Yeah, and you also, when it happens, at least, obviously just the first time, but you do not know if it's gone wrong or not.
Yeah.
And they've been building it up in that the dad doesn't think it's going to work. He wants to try it, but he's never fully done it because his dad's been interfering, so you don't know, is this part of it or not? And then it is in the end, and the dad's like, oh, that was fantastic. And then in the end, he's like, "Yeah, I'm not the mascot anymore."
yeah,
okay, I didn't want to do it anymore.
But yes, his departure to be able to was like, yeah, why not leave it when I'm the greatest?
Yeah,
for that
undefeated
1 year and that one competition, the best.
And then, all right, then. So the couple.
Oh my god. Sorry for overusing these adjectives like fantastic and amazing, but the fantastic Zach Woods, who people know from The Office as Gabe, Silicon Valley. I can't think of his character name right now. Tall, thin, skeletal guy.
Yes, yes, he plays Mike Murray in this one.
And then it was Sarah Baker, I believe, as his wife.
Yes, Mindy Murray. Yes,
who is a very hilarious woman.
And so it's... From the get-go, you realise that these people are not necessarily right for each other.
It's like, that maybe high school romance that they really tried to make work and just...
Yeah, just really
not
try to make work.
admitting that. It's not gonna work, but...
Yes.
But they try.
Well, one of them does, I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Zach Woods likes to cheat, shall we say.
Yes. Well, at the very least, it's quite clear at the end that he's, he doesn't feel necessarily safe in the
well, he shouldn't, because he's quite a bastard.
I think it's one of those things where, obviously it's a comedy and we're laughing about this thing, but he was able to get across the feeling of being trapped and genuinely like what he wants out.
Their rap of interview had to be great. The best. We're working on things, and they're so just you've seen it, and you out there, yes, you've seen it, So.
Yeah, I think they kind of had the best one of those things where like just the looks they gave each other and all of that storytelling.
Yeah, they're really good performances. Yeah, you really feel the tension and the all just under the surface.
Yeah,
all of this turmoil.
At least until
that in one instance came out in a mascot competition.
Yes. Yeah, and that's the thing. You see them sort of practicing the thing, but you never actually see them doing the mascot until they're doing the mascot in the competition. So it's like they're training, and he's just like throwing the balls. And there's the hint there. He's just like, yeah, okay, here, how about this?
But there are 100 more instances of these things that we can talk about. The best thing to do is just watch the film if you know them.
Yes.
If you know this work, you like it, or these type of films. It's nothing that's amazing. Like, it's going to be one of my favorite films, but for what this is, it is fantastic. It's something I can put on and enjoy. I don't need to watch the whole thing.
It's one of those things.
It's a great background movie for the future.
Oh yeah, if this is maybe it'll be one of those things of if someone ever says like, "Hey, have you seen Mascots?" Like, I'll just say, just put it on. Like,
I'm fine with that. Yeah, it's gonna be better than almost anything else I haven't heard of that you're gonna put on. So, watch it. I'm sure you have, but watch it again if you're so inclined. I think his movies lend themselves to multiple viewings really easily. There's always another sight gag in there that you didn't see, or a line that you didn't quite hit you correctly the first time, and you realize the brilliance of it. I find that all the time in his movies. So,
one thing I kind of want to rewatch it again just to see if I was kind of misunderstanding it a bit. There's a point where it turns out that the armadillo may be disqualified, and she has to go and sit in front of the board, and then they discuss something. And it seemed to me that for 95% of the time they were talking about it, they were going to disqualify her. And then they didn't. And it was almost like, I think there were 3 lines, and then it was like, okay, we're not going to disqualify her. It's fine. It's like, I think they kind of reached a point in the scene where they're like, okay, we've got really good stuff over here, but we need to finish with her not being disqualified. If that's the biggest problem I can find with this film, then
I could not really find too much to take issue with.
It's just one of those films that you don't necessarily think of when you're like, yeah, oh yeah, I'm just going to watch a comedy, because obviously mockumentary is its own genre and can be difficult to pull off, but I think Christopher Guest seems to be someone who's found the right formula.
Yes, and if for some reason you are new to him, or sorry, I will say a slight disclaimer, you do have to be into kind of the uncomfortable, awkward humor.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Situational oddities and it's not set up punchline. Yeah,
there's one of those things that in the very last episode of the IT Crowd, actually, Roy kind of turned around and just said, very strange things keep happening to us, don't they? Like, what's happening here? This is strange. Like, that's basically the film.
In a nutshell. Oh no, I'm in a nutshell.
Look at the size, it's bloody great nutshell.
Anyway, I think we should probably wrap up. Is that? Yeah. I was trying to, but Guest, he being Guest, does such a great job of taking a look at these niche communities that are very passionate about a particular thing. And I don't think they're exploitative or mocking them. It is a mockumentary, yes. But I think he's genuinely interested in these types of people that have this one thing they just go fucking crazy about. Like,
and well, obviously the thing when it comes to comedy in this type of realm is the comedy is in how over the top these situations are, but it comes from those fanatics that do the job. So there is that level of passion that's there, and then obviously they kind of twist it a little to turn it into these just weird mascots. I kind of actually would expect to see one or two of these mascots in real life, like at least the character themselves, not necessarily the acts that they do, but the characters do seem like mascots you would find at a school down the road somewhere. Maybe not the Ohio State mascot.
No. Yeah, there's all sorts of responsibilities there, but yes, just too sad that I wasn't aware of this before Halloween, so I could have been the fist.
Yes. Now, would that have been the closed fist or the final?
Ooh, well, I don't know. What you speak? Let's leave a little surprise.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I don't know if you have anything else to say. Do you want to rate this, or do you just want to give it a pass?
I think that when it comes to mockumentaries, it's not really fair to kind of give it a rating.
I give it a strong recommend.
Definitely. It's one of those films that you're gonna want to see at least once. And like you said, it might not be your favorite film of all time, but you'll enjoy watching it. And just even if it is just you're watching it and every 5 minutes just like, what?
What is happening?
What's happening here?
If you are into non-alcoholic enhancement of viewing things, I might recommend that for this.
Fair enough.
If I can be. Yes. Sandwiches, if you like eating sandwiches.
Yes.
Go for that. I don't know. That's about all for me. You have anything to add before we tie this one up?
No, I think that's it. Obviously, we recommend the film, and I would say this might be a good jumping off point for people that don't know Christopher Guest films. Like maybe start with this one and then move back.
Yeah, it's kind of this Best in Show and Waiting for Government in my top 3.
Right.
It is. But yeah. Give it a watch. Give it another watch.
Yes.
That's about it for me.
Alright, well.
I've been Brian.
And I've been Paul.
Bye.
Bye.